Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome. Not a great big fan of this, but you know what? It has some elements that I can use. The animation starter pack, if you use their blueprint and their animation blueprint, well, first off, stupid mouse cursor, we'll fix that. Walking seems to be a little on the slow side, so we need to sprint. We need to get rid of that capsule and actually resize it to a usable size. The crouch, yeah, I don't use the input axis. What I mean by that is if you go to your project settings and inputs, I don't do the action mappings and axis mappings. Anytime I add something into a blueprint, I actually use the actual keyboard reference. And the crouch mechanism, well, it wasn't replicated. So the animation starter pack is not correctly replicated. So if you want multiplayer replication, you're going to have to actually set it up on your own. And I'm just going to try to clean it up a little bit. So that's what I did there, was actually did that. And essentially it's just making a couple custom events. Got multicast reliable, that kind of stuff. I'll show on the next part. But crouching is now replicated and working correctly. The next thing here is at viewport. Go to the capsule collision or capsule component and hide in game. It is way large. Shrink it down to 30, and the height is above the player's head. And yes, that's a little bit too thin, but I'd rather have it too thin than, too large, because it'll block us from going through areas. I will come back and change that height later because I plan on adding Cinti Studios characters in here. So we can actually add some weapons. Now that mouse cursor, that's the next thing to go. Event graph. I will clean this stuff up later. Yes, I have a lot of OCDs. That spaghetti there, but I'll have to clean that up. Mouse input, movement input. Yeah, we're not worried about those. Alright, so we'll do event, begin, play, and the first thing we want to do is set input to game only. And I'm learning that I'm not supposed to use this for a multiplayer. Get player controller, just a blank get controller, a player controller reference. I'll learn more on that later on. But so the next thing is set show mouse cursor, leave it unchecked, so it gets rid of that mouse. It's only going to affect things in the editor. If you package the game, it's not going to be a problem. So no mouse cursor to deal with. Now there is no aim space assigned to this yet. That will have to be addressed. But let's actually look at adding a sprint feature. We're going to grab the event begin play stuff. We're going to end up putting a lot more things to it later, but let's just hide it out of the way for now. So the general is going to be shift. So keyboard shift. Left shift in this case. And what we're going to want to do here is get a reference to our character movement. And if you look at your character movement, you're going to have a lot of cool things you can work with here. What we're looking for is jump Z. I'm going to change that later too. So character movement networking. That's max walk speed is what I'm looking for. Max walk speed is 270. Ugh. I'm going to go ahead and create a couple of variables, and I'm going to start off with normal or walk speed, and I believe that was a float, what we're actually going to come up with. So let's actually get yeah, it's you got regular and while crouched. So this needs to be a float. And compile and save. We're going to replicate that. I'm sure it may or may not be a problem. So how the hell is everybody doing tonight? The normal was 270. Yeah, max walk speed is 270. So we're going to set that at 270. And then we're going to create another new variable called sprint speed. And compile that. And we're going to set that to, screw it, 500 for now. We can always come back and change that. So for right now, we're going to set this as a press and release. And then we'll just Control C and Control V, plug that in here. Get our walk speed and our sprint speed. Again, you can hold down the left control and then drag it in. You will get a get node. If you hold down the alternate key, you'll get a set node. So walk speed will go in here, and then actually we got that reversed. Yep. So got that backwards. When we press the button to sprint, we're going to set our walk speed to our sprint speed. And then when we let go, we're going to go back to our regular walk speed. So normal, sprint, and probably could be faster, but the regular walk speed, we're sprinting now. I mean, you could put that whatever you want for the sprint speed. I mean, you can put it at 750, put it for 7,000 for all I care, but it just seems a little fast. So let's actually bring it back down to 600. 600 is actual normal walk speed. Crouching speed. You notice that it's actually doing that no matter what. So let's see if we can actually just add in here. This is our walk speed. Let's actually set max walk speed crouched. I haven't tried this before, and this is the main reason why I'm doing this project is things that I don't normally do that I should be doing to try to smooth out and actually make the game a little bit better. Oh, kiss my ass. Go right there. So a crouch. It's still affecting it, but what I want to do is actually break this, and let's go ahead and create a new variable, crouch sprint speed, and we're only going to have that set to 400. I'll just drop that in there. Looks like crap, but it works. And yeah, it should push back down to there. So regular, sprint, crouched. Crouch sprint. Still seems a little bit fast, but we'll make do. So that's crouched, or the sprint. So I'll just hit C, sprint, and let's test that out in multiplayer with 2 new pi. Yeah, you won't be able to see because I've got the, this is the client that we're on right now. I don't like that low jump, so I'm going to increase the jump as well. So we'll crouch, and we'll just park right here, and I will actually use the server. So sprinting, seems like it's working. Crouch, yeah, the crouch speed is kind of wonky. What was the original crouch walk speed? 170. So I kind of want to block it off to where it doesn't affect whenever you're crouched. Let's go back to single player. So when you're crouched, I don't want it to affect your crouch speed. I want you to always be stuck in that lower speed. So that's your max walk speed, max crouched, or max walk speed crouched. It's not. Let's look back at the crouch. There is a node that you can pull in. Is crouched. But there is no set. Set. Let's see. Let's try crouch. These are the ones that I created. Is crouching. So we don't need U2. And here's the thing: is set or is crouching. Let's actually move the server stuff up here. And let's add in a branch node. And we'll use this. And this. I might actually break these. And change the order. So we'll run out of the actual client call node and start crouching. That would mean that we're true. And it's probably going to break everything. We stop crouching. We actually want to set that as true. So I don't think that's going to work. Let's see, the thing is, trying new things. If you don't know how to do something, try new things. And that's one of the things that I always kind of reinforce. Crouch and uncrouch. So let's actually pull those in here. Now these are actually Epic made. So uncrouch. So this may actually be what I need to know when referring to this. By setting my crouched walk speed, it did not know that we were crouched or not crouched. So if you crouch, well, yeah, you still suck. It's still going at that faster speed. If you look at our character movement, max walk speed crouched. It's 170. That we'll come back to. It's not a make or break. The other thing is being able to go to the iron sight mode. And yeah, so you're using your controller rotation yaw right here. There is no view change on this one, but I would like to be able to go to an iron sight mode. So let's actually look at how we can do that. Move you out of the way. Now, before I actually do that, take a minute. I'm always talking about trying to clean up your blueprints. Actually, I did not mean to do that. Go in here to walk speed and change our category. And create a new category called movement. And let's go to each of these floats that I made for the character movement. And change them to that category. Same thing with the jump button and crouch button down. So now you can actually hide those and your variable list isn't going to be a mile long. The next thing is let's assign colors to our comment boxes. For movement, and let's go with blue. And let's try 0.75. That bluish green color. And I'm actually going to take that, drag that up here. Now I can select that, go here, and all of my movement related stuff is going to be that color. So if I'm looking for movement, I know what to look for. I know what color. I can always refer back to it. And you are the same. So now, as you're working with your blueprint, you're trying to move around, trying to figure out what's what. If you put them into various colors, then it becomes easier to know what's what. If you're doing damage, make it red. If you're doing movement, instead of using blue, shooting could be whatever. Our begin play stuff, let's actually just go ahead and hit the C key for comment and begin play. And I'm going to make that yellow. And what was it? There we go. 0.75, 0.75, and 0. Forgot to save that color. So now, any of our command line stuff will go there. So it's easier for you to pan around and say, oh, okay, there's this, there's that. You could actually make another comment box somewhere it's saying, like, what color does what. So we're going to do the iron sight mode. So let's do right mouse button. So we click the right mouse button. For right now, we're going to do on and off. When I press it, we're going to do something. When we release it, we're going to go back to the other one. So variable, use iron sight. And we'll change that back to a boolean. Compost and save. And again, if you hold down the left alternate and then left click drag and drop, you get a set node. So we're just going to do this and this and this. Now, it's in your best interest to go ahead and replicate that variable, because we're going to have to come back and multiplayer replicate this so that whenever we go into this mode, it will work. So let's actually go to our animation starter pack, our animation blueprint, and let's take you back to the anim graph. And we're going to end up coming back into this anim graph and modifying it later. So we need to be able to do a transition from crouch and from... See, I hate this animation blueprint because it's already mixed up versus the third-person animation blueprint where you've got the jump loop setup. It's easier to pull into a crouch mode or a walk mode. So what are you doing? Direction and speed. Is it so freaking hard for whoever made these things at Epic to actually clean up your damn blueprints a little bit? I mean, seriously. How hard was that? Alright, so let's go. Oh, God, the spaghetti. Oh, my God, the spaghetti. I'll start by... Oh, I've got to clean this up. This will absolutely just destroy me. Try get pawn owner is your biggest reference you're going to have in here. And yes, it absolutely makes a difference to me for the cleanliness portion of it. Because if your blueprints look like shit and something is broken, you're going to have a harder time coming back to try to fix it if you can't figure out where the hell things are. So neaten up your lines a little bit. Try to make them look a little neater, because it will make a difference. It's not just my OCD that absolutely just kills me whenever I look at a messy blueprint, but that's so much easier to look at. The one above it is absolutely going to just break my brain. Alright, so... yeah. Try to get pawn owner. So we can make some sense out of what they've got going on here also. Vector length, and this is going to help you set your actual speed. We'll go into breaking down how everything works here, but so this isn't directly connected to the inline of everything else. So it's just a matter of making it look neater. See, this is where we need to actually do a split here, because we're using this UE4 ASP character is one that we're using. Oh, would you come the hell on? You love whenever the swarm agent decides it's going to send its spy data. And as much as I love Unreal Engine 4 and love messing with it, the swarm agent is the spy that tells Epic what the hell you're doing. Alright, so this is a much neater blueprint now. Save that. So we have this sequence node already, and we need to split off from this sequence node. Sorry. And we need to bring in the iron sight. So we're going to add a pin Then move these down. We need to get from here, get use iron sights. Okay, and we're going to need a new variable here. Aim down sights. Just something, to get that across. So at this point, we are going to drag off from here, set, plug that in here, plug that in here. So that's going to set the condition of true. Let's go ahead and compost and save. Go into our anim locomotion and an idle. That's just setting idle rifle hip. So I want to come off from there. But what we're going to have is we have this whole series of, we've got our aim space here, and where do we need to pull that in from? Local state machine, it's using the blend space but not the aim space. Typically the aim space would be here. Let me see if I can remember how to do this. The idle rifle, you got aim space. That's your blueprint. It's kind of a light blue color. Get your aim space animation. What's probably going to end up having to happen is when you look at animation, you want your aim set. And we don't have an aim set. That's why whenever we look at our character, whenever we're moving around, we're just staying there at the hip. So we'll actually come back to that later because I don't have the that configured. So we need to call the blend space. See here, it's calling the blend space for jog. And that's your actual movement. So I want to be able to come off from here and add a state. ADS. Now the fun part is there's not much room to work with in here. I'm zoomed in all the way. So at this point we want to have is there no blend space already set up? No. The stuff is there. Shit, we're gonna have to make that first. So I'm actually gonna close these down. Alright, the blend spaces that we have are for crouch walk and our regular movement, our regular jog. And if you look, crouch, wow. If you hold down shift and move your mouse around, it's going to handle all this. And doesn't look like anything's changing, but that's forward, that's backwards, sidestepping for your left and right. So we need to recreate this, but for frickin' iron sights. And in your aim space, what's going to end up having to happen is coming in here and going to 0 and deleting everything out of here so that you have specifically just this one spot here where he's aiming in the center. And then you're going to have to come back in and find the exact spot where he stops moving up, delete everything before here and delete everything after here. Now you're going to make another animation reference to, or another animation here for up. And then scroll back and move down now, so you have to remove everything before here and everything after here, so you have just this pose. You're going to have to go through and make all of your 9 basic poses. So you have center, you have center up, center down, center left, center left up. You have to make all 9 poses separately instead of utilizing the aim space. There might actually be another way of actually creating an aim space function in the blueprint, but I don't know yet. I haven't spent a lot of time working on animations in the last year or two, so we'll work from there. So we need to go to animation and blend space. 400 frickin' things here. I need this guy. Iron sight BS. Alright. Horizontal and vertical. We don't have anything here, but we can always come back here and look at this guy as a reference. Direction and speed. How is it not still open? Where the hell is it? There we go. With their iron sight. Why the hell isn't both of them open? I want a separate window. Well, anyway, direction and speed. So we got direction, speed, and our first animation that we need is going to be idle rifle iron sights. That's crouched. Shit. Which means we're going to have to make a completely separate one. I want you to go away. Thank you. So we have crouched iron sights and we have standing iron sights. A lot of bullshit to go through here. So I'm just going to go and search for iron sights. Walk forward, walk backwards, death from iron sights. And I'm really getting to the point where I'm not willing to spend the time on this right now. Idle rifle iron sights. So we have that, and we're going to have to go through and make the entire deal here. Walk forward, walk backwards, walk left, walk right. So as you're setting this up, it blends between walking forward and backwards. So you get a nice blend this way, and that's cool. Let's hit save. We'll have to come back and do another one that is just going to be crouch iron sights, which I will get into that later. But you know what, that's going to be good enough for now. And then we can go back into our animation blueprint. Then we can call. See, I really don't like this. ADS. I don't like this blueprint. We can actually come in here now and drag that in. And we already have our direction and speed. All right, before we compose and save, we have to know how we get into it. So we're just going to plug that in there. And then we need to be able to get out of it. So we'll go back to that and we'll change this to that, but we'll drag from inside there not B for not Boolean. So we are not aiming down sights. Then we can go back to that other transition. So in theory, yes, we got to fix the direction, the speed. But you can see, I hate this pawn control rotation. Hey, what's going on, man? Honestly, I think I would rather go about this a different way. Instead of doing that. Let's do this a different way. Because he's actually standing still, instead of going to the blend space, let's actually just go ahead and add the state here for ADS. Doing the same basic thing here. And return back to it. But inside this, instead of doing the blend space, iron sight. Let's look for the idle rifle iron sights. Right. But let's see if we can do this. Layered parabone blend. And we want to layer that in with, well, first off, we need to add the so that's the thing. This frickin' infection has got my brain all screwed up. So I'm having to keep doing shit like this in temporary projects so that I can keep my brain active. I mean, having this, infection in my jawbone, it hurts to talk. I've got enough pain meds in my system right now to keep it at bay, but it hurts to swallow. It's uncomfortable. I can't eat good right now. So I'm eating soft food, and damn it, I'm a fat kid. I like to damn eat. We want this to go in with the regular. Again, we can just plug that guy in. Get our speed, direction. So go back to our layered bone blend, go to our layer setup, members, add an element, open it up, and should be capital S, lowercase PINE underscore 01 for the UE4 mannequin, spine 1, and then we want to do blend depth of 1. And we want to do aim down sights, and then return. Same thing here, but let's reverse it with adding in. Get over there. Not B, not Boolean. Plug that in there. Then compost and save. And now, in theory, whenever we're doing it, we're just going to blend that into whatever we're currently doing. That's idle. Nope, go back in here. We're going to have to do it like this for each of the ones. In this case, since that was just a straight up idle, we just need idle. So we just do idle, rifle, hip. Keep everything else the same. But while we're at idle, we want to just do that. But if we start walking, everything breaks. Because we need to then add it into the jog functionality. Basically the same thing we just did. Come from jog, add state, yes, fuck you, ads jog. Two things can have the same name, you ass clown, stupid thing. To and from, same thing, not crouching, aim down sights. To get out of the state, we want to get our aim down sight, not set, you asshole. Just left control, click, drag and drop. It's nice and simple. Drag off from here and not B, enter, plug you in, you're all set. Then we go in here to this and drag off from here, layered, and it's the only option. And from our base pose, we are going to use the blend space here. Probably screwing this up already, but let's go ahead and get our direction and our speed. Actually, no, we don't want to do this. We're just blending the idle iron sights. So then we got the firing and all kind of other crap too. But we know we want blend space jog, and that's going to go into our top pose here, and that will need our direction and speed, because we're taking this and we're just going to blend in the idle rifle iron sights. Because what we're doing is we're taking the top half of our bottom half of our body is going to be doing this. The upper half of our body is going to be doing this. So add that in, do this. Same thing again, capital S, PINE, underscore 01, and 1. And in theory, that's going to let us now do it while we're jogging. Run, jump, crouch, walk. So then we'd have to do the same thing now for our crouch walk and crouch. So we're going to have to come from here and do the same thing that we did here for idle. Blend those two and blend it all together. So trying to get all this to be where, okay, aim down sights. Now I'm walking, Can aim down sights, let go, everything's good. If I stop, aim down sights, it's all good. But if I crouch and do it, you can't go into that transition. You can't aim down sights or use your iron sights when you're crouching. So then I said, same thing, add a state, ADS crouch. It's kind of annoying, but got to do what you got to do, right? Aim down sights, pop you in here, come back over here, return out of it, get our aim down sight, not Boolean, plug you in, come over here, ADS crouch, and we want idle rifle iron sights. Make sure we have a crouch rifle iron sights. Let's see what that looks like. Because we're crouching, we're not actually blending anything if we already have that. So if we crouch, there we go. But if we try to walk, that's where we need to do our blending. So we got our crouch idle rifle iron sights. Let's go to crouch walk. Add a state. ADS crouch walk. And we'll do our return. We'll do aim down sights. Our return transition. Aim down sights. Not Boolean. And go to there. And then what we're actually going to do here is grab that and let's do everything out of there. Grab our blend space. Move them a little bit because we need layered. You know, probably could have just copy and paste, but just add that in there. Open that up again. Spine underscore 01. Blend depth 1. Plug you in. Plug you in. Direction. Speed. Yeah, the rest of them I let look like crap, and I take the time on this one. Yeah. Compost and save. So now it's all good. We see it's not transitioning. If I'm walking and I stop walking while I'm aiming down sights, he keeps walking. So I'm going to see if I can fix that. So I wonder why it's doing that. Because we have our transitions back and forth, and they're hard-coded. For crouch, you can only aim down sights that way. It's all directly in line. This is all in line here. So why is it? Because we're still aiming down sights. Hey, what's up, Chris? Sorry, I didn't see you sneak in there. Trying to figure out why we're not getting the clean transition. Because when we're crouch walking, we're blending the stuff together. But our speed probably going to have to, and again, this is just a shot in the dark here, but I'm thinking what's going to have to happen is um, if we need to set our speed value so that if it is above a certain speed, if it's below a certain speed, then it should stop you from doing the animation, so that you should be able to get a cleaner transition. And I mean, honestly, if you look, that's fine. But if I start walking, I can't start walking because I'm stuck in this. Because if I start walking, then it's sliding. All right, yeah, I'll check them out to the stream. You see, I'll have to go back in there and set some transition values. Because if I'm stopped and I start walking, I'll probably have to go back and redo this. The whole point of this is actually not even using this. It's for me to come in here and get these two, the aim spaces, and set them up for use. But there is no pistol aim space. So, and that's all I really wanted was the pistol. Because if I actually go back in here and change to my default character, which is the player underscore base, there is no weapons functionality whatsoever in it. And to me, if I just wanted to add in something simple like this, I'm going to have to retarget these animations. And say if I just grab the pistol, idle pistol animation, well, I should go to the animation folder, create a new folder called pistol, come back in here, just type in pistol. All we have is equip, idle, and reload. I'm not even going to use the equip because the equip sucks. Grab these two, and damn it, open up. Thank you. And I'm going to not do that. Grab those two. I'm actually going to retarget. And cancel. Because take that back out of there, go to the mesh, go to the skeleton, retargeting manager, humanoid rig, save. And because I'm going to be retargeting at some point to Cindy characters, up 50. Going to do down 10, back 30 on the lower arm, down 10, back 30, and then I'm going to change this to 5, and I'm going to grab the hand, and I'm going to go up by 15. And then I'm going to modify pose, use current pose, and then save. Close shoot completely, and then save all. Then I have to go back and same thing again with the UE4 mannequin, the regular one, and do the same thing. Because I'm going to end up using the Cindy characters, and I'm going to be doing them back and forth. So upper arm up by 50, lower arm down by 10, back 30, and the hand up 15. Seems to be the best overall recipe that I've come up with so far for retargeting the UE4 mannequin to use the Cindy characters. And then modify pose, use current pose, save. So now, when I go back in here for those two animations, pistol, idle, and reload. No, dumbass. I should be able to reassign skeletons since they're the same freaking thing, but change the folder. And retarget. So now, save all, and for my default UE4 mannequin skeleton and its animation blueprint, to be able to add in the pistol, I'm just going to do it this way. So we have idle pistol and then reload. Let's go to the default third-person animation blueprint and go in here. And even this one, I hate the way it looks. Damn it, Epic. Is it so hard to make a clean blueprint? I have to do this every friggin' time I open up a project. They have to go through and do this. I have to. No, I literally have to. Because it will drive me nuttier than Chinese chicken salad. Get your ass back there. You guys get over here. No, ass clown. Get your ass over there. I blame my misclicks on everybody else. It's Epic's fault, because if their blueprint didn't look like shit, I wouldn't have to go through all this. Okay. Now I can actually get to work. So again, we need our player character. In this case, I'm using... which I need you open. Don't need you open. Character blueprints, player underscore base. Need that variable. Pistol equipped. And I'm going to replicate that. Compost and save. And all I'm going to do here is right mouse button. We'll come back and replicate this. Usually I say go ahead and replicate and get it over with, but we'll just, you know, we'll do this. We use a flip-flop. And I was talking to you earlier about the having the weapons separate from the character so that you can equip and put away your weapons. So we're going to do this and set. Yeah, my main project, I was getting too carried away with assets, and that's why I've stopped. Every time I start working on that project, I get to that point, it's like, nope, I'm getting carried away. I need to focus on what I'm doing here. So we'll do here cast to player underscore base, which is my player character. No, go back over there. Get from try get pawn owner, plug into the object reference there, and even though I don't need to just yet, I'm going to go ahead and sequence it, and then I'm going to go ahead and get from as player base, get pistol equipped, and use pistol reference here, and then I'm going to alternate and plug that in there, plug that in there. Yeah, that'll be important in the long run, because what if you want your player to get disarmed, or if you just want to walk through a shopping mall, you don't want to have a freaking sword displayed, because you're doing something related to G.I. Joe, and from my experience from watching back in the 80s, whenever that stuff was new, actually back in, not new, the cartoon version of it, the newer version of it, the original G.I. Joes that, you know, when I was growing up, we had the action figures that were like a freaking back then they seemed like they were a foot tall. They were actually, I don't know what the actual dimensions are, but they were large. You have the GI Joe. Then if you were a really spoiled kid, you got the GI Joe with the 1-2 punch action, which had little buttons on the guy's back. You could press and he would do a punching movement. Um, so yeah. So from idle and run, see, this is all we have. Idle run. This is your walking and your running, and you're standing idle. So much easier to work with instead of all those other transitions. Then your jump is the one that's actually broken up into different sections. Yeah, I had those growing up, and God, I feel like an ass because I was the kid that was out there that I'd shoot him with a freaking BB guns. And Daisy Red Ryder killed many a freaking GI Joe. Honestly, if you're doing, and I'm all about goofiness and not taking things too serious about a lot of stuff, like life in general. My previous marriage, yeah, have fun with a game. Yeah, see the little ones. Okay, they were cool because you had a lot of accessories to go along with it. I'm 51, so, um, but this is one of those things where um, making fun of things. You have the baddest mofo GI Joe character, and his arch nemesis should be um, a kid with a Daisy Red Ryder BB gun. So anytime you just make a reference, if you're doing a cinematic or whatever, you make a reference to a Daisy, or don't let me get the Daisy, or you got a Red Rider coming for your ass, or whatever, making a Daisy Red Rider a reference should make them tremble in fear. uh, that's just me. So let's get back to what I was doing here. Pistol has pistol. See, I think that way. Because I'm always thinking about the comedic aspect of the way it is. So we'll do this. Use pistol. Go back. Get out of that transmission or transition, or the transmission, either one. And no, we don't want a set node because we're stupid. We want to use that, and no, that is not the knot that I wanted. Dumbass. Not B. Okay. And the actual one right here was what we're going to go ahead and blend. See, the downside is you're using, and this would have to all be, you can't put anything on YouTube about it because and you can't publish the game without permission of publishing a game with their characters in it. I mean, you could just call them something else, It sucks that they have, the Hasbro or whoever did the toy line would raise a shit fit. Oh, see, that's cool. And so that's where I don't understand is yeah, I've had lots of ideas on that, Eamon. Um, with in-game purchasing, or actually from like the Play Store or um, that kind of stuff. Well, let's see, that's cool. I deal with a lot of people that they're doing these recreations just for their own thing, for a hobby, and there's nothing wrong with that. It does kind of suck though that you could never really publish anything because it, intellectual property or belongs to somebody else. But I am going to be looking at the in-app purchases. Usually means for um, mobile-based games, and I haven't really done anything for developing for mobile yet, because I'm an old guy, I'm old fart, and I'm a PC guy. So I always think in PC stuff, you know, the PC master race. Third person idle. To run blend space. We need that one. Plug you in. We only have a speed. I said plug in. Thank you. So plug that in there. And this guy, I'm trying to take a sip of my coffee here. Yeah, I've had goals like that I just never achieve. Story of my life. Spine 0, 1 and blend depth 1. But because this is going off of their idle and this is a 3D blend space, if I actually do this, it doesn't matter if I'm standing still or walking or doing whatever, it's all moving off of the same thing here. And since I haven't set a toggle, now you can set it to where you can choose for a toggle or alright, I'll take a look at it later. We're set to toggle using a flip-flop. Just for shits and grins, you would want to do this through a menu. But I'm going to go ahead and do a new variable here. Toggle pistol. And I'm going to do another one that is momentary pistol. Now, these two variables are going to be set up for, and I'm actually just going to put them in a temporary thing because I'm probably not going to keep this project more than another hour anyway. I'm going to go ahead and put in a branch node here, and before I do anything else, I'm going to also do a clone. I'm going to copy all this, and now what I'll do is I'll do toggle pistol here, and I will do momentary pistol here. Now again, this is something you would want to set up in like your player menu or whatever, but for right now I'm just going to put so both of these are set to false. So there's no way that I'm going to be able to use my pistol. You close, thank you. So now if I come in here and right click, I can't use it because both of those variables are set to false by default. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create new folder. Okay, and we're going to call this actor toggle underscore pistol. And then what I'll do is I'm going to add a component of a cube like I usually do, and 0.1. No, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add another component, which is going to be a box collision. We're just basically making a trigger right now, and we just need to do 1.5 by 1.5, and we'll move it up. Instead, I would normally do this in a menu, and I mean I could have done, instead of making two separate triggers here, I could actually create a quick menu to do this, but this is going to be a little bit quicker. So come in here and close these guys off. On component begin overlap, and then compost save. Other actor, we want our player character, In this case, I'm only doing it for my usual. And then in here we got these two. So toggle pistol is what we're doing now. So set toggle pistol to true. In the menu, like say if you pull up a settings menu, you know how some games will actually have it to where you can decide whether you want your pistol to be a toggle type or if you want it to be. Actually, we don't want to flip flop here. We want this to be here and plugged in here as well, and we want this on release. And we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. So yeah, settings menus will allow you to say I want to toggle it, or I want it to be like press and release. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. So when we step onto this, we're going to set this to toggle mode. And let's go to our cube, and I'm going to change that to blue. And then I'm just going to throw that in the map. 0, 0. So we know that that's going to be for toggle. And then I'm actually going to duplicate this, and I'm going to call this moment pistol. Go in here and change the cube to red, and change the variable set momentary pistol. I'm a rank amateur. So we'll take that and throw it into the map, and we will set that at 250. So this is simulating that we're actually using this in the menu. So when we come into the game, now I can't use my pistol. So if I use the blue one, now whenever I right click, and now I'm not holding the mouse right now at all. So now I am. But now we're on toggle mode. So whenever I right click, it goes into that mode and stays in that mode until I right click again. But if I go over the red one, if I right click and then let go, it puts the pistol back up. Seems to be a pause. So we'll probably then probably have to do is valid. No, it's wrong. And is valid. But yeah, we just have to do a confirmation on this right here to confirm it. We're just setting the pistol equipped back and forth, and it's not a clean way to do this because right now, like I said, it would be better to actually have this in a menu. So this should be momentary. So if I let go, it drops it down. And if I chose to in my options, I could actually go through, and now that should set it. Yeah, I didn't like that. So if you set it in your options menu to let the player decide, you can have it set to toggle, or you can set it to be momentary. Like I said, I would actually put that into a widget. I mean, if you want to do it in a widget, it would just be widget interface. Pistol mode, widget. Go into it. This is going to be beyond stupid here, so let's go into special effects, background blur, and anchor it to the center of the screen. Size 100 by 100. Yeah, let's make it 300 by 300, so that means our position needs to be negative 150 by negative 150, so it's centered up. Yeah, I mean, I could do that. You already had them rigged. Did you get the character? You said I haven't looked at the thing there, but all right, you got your character in a T pose. Yeah, I'll take a look at them. I'll nuke this project here, and then I'll start a fresh one. I make these projects, I goof around with them a little bit, and then I end up nuking them and starting something different. But this has my multiplayer template built into it, so it is multiplayer. Yeah, we just wanted to do in here. We'll do a vertical box. First off, our background blur, we need to set the Z order to -1, and we need the blur strength to be 50. Sounds good to me. Our vertical box, we can now drag that in here and size it to fit with a little bit of a border. And then we'll anchor it to center so it's in the right spot. And then, yeah, I'll make a project with it. And let's do a text. Pistol modes. Looks lovely. And there's other ways of doing this, but I'm going to go ahead and put in a primitive. I don't need a throbber. It just sounds pornographic. And I'm going to do 30 space. And we'll do a... Yeah, screw it. We'll just do a button with text. And we'll just copy that and paste that. And, you know what, we'll copy that and paste that and move the spacer up to between them. Do this. Toggle pistol hold. And what the hell is it normally called whenever you're up and down with the well, everything I use is free, so what do you call the option, and what do they call, other people call the option in the game where you're just, when you hold and then let go of the mouse button, it stops doing something? So momentary. We'll just call it momentary pistol, whatever. So you know what you're doing. It's already set as a variable. We're going to punch this in here as moment button, and button 57 will then become toggle button, because when we go into our event graph, we get rid of that stuff, and when we do this, it does that. When we do this, it does that. So what we want to do here is cast to our player. Yeah, it's got a term that a lot of games actually use. And then we'll do this in here also. I always like the toggle type myself. So, and all we're going to do is, oh, I think I know why it was kind of being wonky before. Um, so we need to do set nodes on here. Set toggle pistol to true. Then we're going to need to uncheck it over here. So when we're doing this, we're setting this to true, and we are going to set momentary to false because it was conflicting back and forth. And then we'll do this and do that and set that one to true. Connect that and do that. So that should take care of that. Eat ass. And we need to kill this somehow. So let's go ahead and grab another let's copy our spacer. And let's add in one more button with text. And we're going to call this our exit button. And change our text, center it out, to read exit menu. Still like that. It'll increase the space a little bit. And I'm going to decrease the distance on this one. Let's actually change it to 10. So that's our menu. And go back in here and exit button. Yeah, you could. Yeah. Just lazy, and I've always done it this way. In fact, what we want to do here is set input to game mode only. Player controller. And set show mouse cursor to false. I have to force myself to use more of the event pre-construct, but this method works. Remove from parent. So essentially we want to set our game mode back to our normal game mode and then get rid of this widget. And then what we'll do here is, that's not replicated, but we'll come back to that. To get this to replicate better, I would actually equip pistol and unequip pistol custom events and replicate those. That way you can call them both ways from there and not have to worry about it. So right here, keyboard F. Thank you. So we're going to hit the F key, and we are going to create widget. The widget is going to be the pistol mode. I haven't had any problems with get player controller and running it this way. I'm told not supposed to do it that way for multiplayer, but it works. I haven't had any issues with that yet. We're going to add to viewport, and we are going to set input to let's just do UI only. Get our controller reference, get our widget reference. Don't need to worry about promoting this to a variable and all that stuff too, because it's gonna be a short term. Me love you short time. Set show mouse cursor, and that's gonna be true because we're gonna manually close it with the widget itself. So no functionality of the pistol. Hit the F key. We want to toggle pistol mode and exit. And now we've got our toggle mode. I've always used add to viewport. I haven't needed to try anything else. You know, I try subbing, and if it works correctly, I just let it ride. So we hit F, and we'll do the momentary and exit. There we go, nice and clean. F key, I like toggle mode, exit. See that little background blur, just adds a little nicety to it. You don't have to put a major background color or anything else. You just get that background blur. And if you wanted to go in there and change that background blur amount, it's the blur strength. Let's change it to 20%. It's not bad. I like 10% also. So, yeah, it's not bad. Now to replicate this, NewPy, again, you guys won't see what we'll do toggle, exit. Alright, so client is doing it. But, as you can see, this is a server. Server does not see the client doing it. So let's do this. We'll do toggle and exit. But the server is working just fine. The server is the server. So, I'm going to move these back out of the way. So the server cannot see what the client's doing. So that's why you need to replicate these. So these guys are, that's fine there. Let's move, actually let's just grab these two. Well, we'll just go sideways with it. What needs to happen here is instead of doing it this way, we need a equip pistol and unequipped pistol events here. So I'm going to go ahead and custom event, client, equip pistol, and multicast reliable. And what we're going to do is that. And then we're going to break that one. And we're going to do custom client unequip pistol. And again, multicast reliable. And all you're going to do is that. We're setting those two variables. And then from here, we want to do custom and just equip pistol. And that is going to be run on the server, reliable. Switch has authority. And client equip pistol. And then we'll do the same thing here, custom event, which is going to be unequip pistol. Run on the server. Switches authority. Respect my authority. And then client unequip pistol. So now that we have these all set up, this is going to handle our our replication. And then all we need to do here is equip pistol and unequip pistol. Move that over just a wee bit. Here, same thing. We'll delete those two. Grab these. Plug it in here. True and true. And that should do the same thing as we were doing before, but replicated. So we'll do single player. Open the menu. We're going to toggle pistol. And it works. And let's see the menu again. Momentary pistol. Exit. And it works. Okay. So let's check the replication. Alright, so client. Actually, let's do this so you guys can see everything on here. I keep everything whenever I'm working on the stuff on separate windows. On separate monitors, so I don't have to fool with it. That's the joy of having multiple monitors. So, right side, client. Toggle pistol. And you can see, server can now see what he's doing. Which where you're pointing that thing near Schmucko. That's toggle, and this is momentary. Works just fine. Let's go over here to the server. Open the menu, toggle. Works just fine. Open it up. Go to momentary. Works just fine. And there was much rejoicing. So that's that. Quick replication of setting up, equipping the pistol. Of course, we don't have a pistol in our hand right now, but since I did add in Cinti Studios Polygon Heist, we might as well, since you guys are here. Let's go ahead and look at our meshes. Weapons rigged. I'm a 1911 guy, so I want my 1911. And it is called the Bandit pistol. So we has a pistol, but we also already have the characters set up. So I'm not going to retarget anything right now. You guys have seen me do that 1,000 times. But we have a holster and we have a 1911. So let's actually go to my Manny. And let's go to our skeleton tree. First thing I want, hip R. Actually, thigh R. I like putting the holster on the thigh. That way it kind of moves with the leg. So let's add in a socket. Click on it. F2. Holster. Let's add a preview asset of holster. And let's position it. Ninety. That's pretty good against the hip there. Just do that. That's about good there. Save, and then while we're in here, we might as well use specific animation and idle pistol. We'll pause our animation. let's go with hand R and add socket to main hand. Add a preview asset. Our bandit pistol. And we just want to go ahead and position it. I'm going to uncheck that so I can actually get to look a little bit better. That's actually not bad level-wise. It looks a little big in Manny's hand for some reason. But when it's in the Cindy character's hand, it doesn't look oversized. You know what? I'm not going to get crazy with it right now for a project I'm not going to keep. So let's go ahead and tip it down just a wee bit. Alright, that's good enough. So now we go back into our player. Actually, let's go back into our assets. And let's actually make a pistol blueprint so we can add it and get rid of it in a nicer way, a cleaner way. So we'll just make a blueprint and actor and 1911. These are not naming conventions that I would normally use. So we'll come over here. We'll find the weapon again. Weapon rigged. Select it. Over here. And 1911. Compile, save. We don't need any functionality to it right now. Unless you guys want me to continue with this and actually make it shoot something, but let's actually go back to our player. Manny. There we go. Well, first off, we want to do add to our player. Signed holster. Add component. Holster. We'll actually call it holster. Parent socket is going to be holster. So it'll go right to the correct spot. So now we actually have a holster on our character. So let's go back to, yep, that's our holster. You see it's attached to the thigh. So it actually moves with the player's leg. So next thing we want to do here is a couple different ways we can handle this. Alright, so this is all of our equipped pistol stuff here. So what we can do here is, in our client equipped pistol, we can move these to here because we're going to need to do a lot more stuff. So when we equip our pistol, we want to get our pistol from our holster and put it in our hands, right? So it looks right. So let's actually look at our viewport, and I'm going to add the pistol in. That's a skeletal mesh, so let's keep with the skeletal mesh thing. And to our holster, we're going to add a component of our holstered pistol. So by socketing it to that, or attaching it to there, it goes ahead and puts it in the holster. So now, we're carrying a 1911. Perfect, right? So now, whenever we actually come in here and set the fact that we're going to have a pistol, when we draw our pistol out, we want that pistol to go away from our holster. We want a pistol to show up in our hands. And then when we go back to our holster, then we want it to go back to the holster. So let's go to our event graph, and what we've got here is we get a reference to our holstered pistol, and let's set visibility to false. And we'll do this step by step so that you can kind of see the transitions and how I'm doing this. We'll set it back to true. Now, these are not going to be perfectly timed and not look great, but let's go back. We're in toggle pistol mode. So right click, gun's gone from our holster, and now it's back. But now we want it to go into our hands. Now we could do, if we're only going to ever have the one pistol, then we can do it what I call the dorky way. And let's actually, short term, we don't need to. We can actually take reference to our mesh and add the pistol in. It's already pre-selected here. Add component, drawn pistol, and we would need to socket that to the main hand. It's not going to look right here, but it will look right in the animation. And just get a reference to this. Now this is, like I said, this is one way of doing it. If you're going to do it this way, it's not going to look beautiful and be correct. This is just a cosmetic change. If you're actually going to do an actual pistol or a weapon, I wouldn't do it this way. But for right now, we're just doing this as a cosmetic view. And do this, Control C, Control V. And what I mean by that is we're drawing a non-functional weapon at this point. I'll show you the other way in just a second here. So we're turning off the visibility of that, and we're turning on the visibility of this one. And we're reversing that. So now if we toggle, close, right click, you see the gun is gone from our hip and it's in our hand. I would actually do a delay here for this because it just is disappearing. So the activate going is roughly a half second. So you can actually do this. Let's see, this is the holstered pistol. Let's break these up. So what we're going to do here is, when we say that we want to put our pistol away, we want to set our visibility of the two a little bit differently. We're going to want to delay, and let's set that delay at, for now, 0.5, half second. And then we're going to turn off the visibility of our drawn pistol. Get your ass back over there. And then we're going to turn on the visibility of our holstered pistol. That little bit of delay is so that, yeah, it's too long a delay. So let's try 0.25. Why did he have his pistol equipped right now? Oh, because this drawn pistol just turn off visibility. If there's, oh, we turn it on there, but auto activate. You don't want it to be there from the start. Well, I guess that doesn't matter. So we'll just turn off visibility here because we're changing the visibility stats. Alright, so there it's out of his hand. We'll set our mode. So draw, holster, draw, holster. It's pretty close. So that's that. The correct way, if you want to make it an actual functional weapon, you would actually call the, instead of drawn pistol, you're going to get rid of that. And actually spawn a new item. So drawn pistol, we want to get rid of. It don't exist. So what's going to happen now is our holstered pistol is just that. It's a static mesh. We're going to go from there. And this is working. So let's see what we can do here. Spawn actor from class. Class was the 1911. Spawn transform. Where are we going to get it? Where are we going to put it? We'll get our mesh and get socket transform. And the socket that we wanted was main, if it's spelled correctly, main hand, and we'll connect that into here. And now we need to put this on our player. Attach to component. But we also want to do, that is a variable. We're going to call this our 1911 drawn, whatever. So we actually have a variable reference to it. Let's actually call it what it is. So 1911 reference. Okay, our socket name here, we can just manually type it in, or we can create a variable and just put it wherever we need to. I'm just going to type it in. So it's our main hand. It needs to snap to target. Parent is going to be the mesh. Let's take a peek real quick. So there, it's now spawned into our hands. It's stuck in there because we haven't told it to get rid of it yet out of our hands. So now when we are doing this, we can actually destroy actor. The actor we're going to get rid of is our 1911. I know, kind of looks a little jumbled up here. So we're running around, we have no functionality, we hit F, we'll set that, our toggle mode. We spawned it in. Now if you were to look, and I'll get ready to point with my finger, on the right in the world outliner, you notice under player base, 1911, and then deleted actor. So it spawns it and deletes it. Holy shit, I have a typo. No, I can't have a typo for that. What the hell? Oh, I know why it's doing it. Never mind. It's not me. I didn't make a mistake. The game did. The editor did 1911. So whenever I put it away and I draw it back out again, it's 1911 1. So it's added an additional to it. So if I actually put it away, draw it back, now it's 1911 2, 1911 3. But it's actually destroying the actor whenever we put it back in our holster. Yay, and there's much rejoicing. No, we can't shoot, but what do we have for particle effects? Okay, this should be a good example here of things to look at for Cindy Studios assets. Put that in there, and it's repeating itself over and over and over and over. We don't want that to happen. I believe it's going to be the same thing for the gunshot. Yeah, it is never ending. So we can't have that. We're going to go into our particle effects. See, it's a steady, never ending thing here. Click on required. Scroll down. The emitter loops. 1. Save. Required. Emitter loops. 1. Save. But we also need to do on the fire portion the emitter duration. Let's change it to 1.01 or 0.01 and then save. And that will fix that so it's not in a stuck over and over and over loop. Alright, so I don't like this one too. This is absolutely stupid, but it's just throwing money in the air. You guys have seen me use that one before in a dorky way. Sparks. Now see, there's a couple ways you can do this. This one's good if you wanted to continue to spark, but we could also create another one for an impact effect and duplicate that one and shut down the number of emitters, how many times it cycles. I'm not worried about that right now. Let's actually quickly check, make sure the pistol is replicating correctly. So let's go ahead and toggle, exit. Yep, appears to be working good. So server, toggle, exit. Yep, good enough. So we've got to have a gunshot sound. So we can simulate we're actually shooting. Just for the hell of it. Audio, guns. I said, even for a project that I'm not going to keep, still try to do somewhat decent. Audio. Pistol. And I'm going to go ahead and create a cue. And sound attenuation. Save all. Go into our sound cue. And we're good. Just want to make sure it's not looping. And then set our attenuation to it. And I should have given that attenuation a better name, but whatever. Alright, that's that. That's the equipping and putting away with replication. That's all working. We're going to need one more variable. And let's do can shoot. We're going to come post and save. So while we're in our client equip pistol and all this lovely stuff here, we're going to set that to true. So now we can shoot. And then when we put our pistol away, unequip, we're going to set can shoot to false. This way, we can't shoot one of our guns in our holster. So we're just going to find a new spot here, and we're going to do left mouse button, branch, can we shoot? First thing we're going to do is shits and grins. We're going to play sound at location. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get some information here. And see if I can pull it from our 1911 reference. We're going to get that. Get socket location. And let's just move this out a little bit. I don't have a socket in there yet, but something you need to take into account that when you're setting up your weapons, especially if you're going to use like the Cindy weapons, you go into the actual thing here and click here. We're going to add a socket, and then we're going to call this our muzzle. Not a muggle, but a muzzle. And position it in the right spot. No, I'm not really a Harry Potter fan. My ex-wife was a big Harry Potter fan. I wasn't. And because UE4, we're going to rotate it to the right 90 degrees. Undo, turn on snapping again, back to 10. Because for some unknown reason, when you put that socket in, the rotation that way is wrong. So we'll put in here, muzzle, and plug that in. 9mm Q. So we're going to play our sound when we have our weapon drawn. Since we know everything's working. Speed things up, I'll change that to where... Alright, so we got our sound every time we pull the trigger. Excuse me, you need to be over there. Let's go ahead and set toggle pistol on by default, so that we don't have to go into the menu every freaking time. And next thing we're going to do is spawn emitter at location. And we can do it at location, and that's going to be fine, because we actually have the location of our muzzle for our 1911 that we have equipped. So, do gunshot. We don't have to worry about the rest of them. Auto destroy. Draw it out. Yay, there's much rejoicing. And we can't shoot ones in our holster. Yay. Now, if we want to really be cool, we could add some other effects to... Well, we don't have any animation for that. Animation Starter Pack has animations for rifle fire, but not for pistol fire. We have our reload animation, we have our ammo Um, in theory, if we come in here and look at our player, one thing that always annoys me is the ammo system that most people use in their games. And since we're at this point and people are still watching, let's go ahead and set up a magazine reload. They're magazines, not clips. They're magazines. Thank you. So we'll just set up a quick reload system. But first, we need a couple variables. Magazine. Let's actually call this full mag. Full magazine. And I'll come up with better names later. We're going to make that an integer. We're using a 1911. So we have my current magazines that I use mostly are 8-rounders and 45. But let's go ahead and make it a 10-rounder just for the sake of it. Because there are plenty of 10-round magazines for the 1911. But we need another one that's going to be shorten this. Available magazines. How many magazines do we have? We have 3. Okay, so what we'll do to start off with is in our left mouse button, we're doing this, and we're going to I'm not going to get too carried away with this, but we need a system to check, and we can run that through this right here as well. We want to get our magazine, and actually let's just change it to magazine. Alright, so we'll get our magazine. And we are going to a decrement integer, which means we're going to take 1 away. Actually, the next thing I want to do here is go ahead and go to our player HUD. And we have this background here. Just gonna make this cheesy. And we want, you can make this as cool or as lovely as you want, but what I'm going to do is just grab some text here, and this is going to be 99, but let's actually only take up half of that. We're going to make that stick to the left hand side, and we'll put that at 99, and we'll make that stick to the right hand side. Alright, so what these are going to do, let's make sure we anchor these to the bottom right. We can make this be the number of mags. So what I'll do here is create binding, drag that off, get a reference of our player, jaw is starting to hurt, get player character, and let us get our, what the hell am I working on here? This was, we'll say this is our magazine count here. Mag count. So we know what we're working on. Get available magazines. No, stupid. I said get. Get a veil mags. You go over there because we're going to do that. So all this is going to do is just show how many magazines we have available in our player HUD. And cool, right? And our other text, we're just going to go ahead and create a binding. And this is going to be get ammo, which is just going to be the ammo in our magazine. So just like we did here, Control C, Control V. And that was called magazine. And we'll just get magazine. Plug you in. So we're just going to see these numbers. That's all we really care about. So we hit play. We got those two numbers. And if we draw. See if they keep going down because we didn't tell it to stop at a certain point. But the HUD at least shows our stats there. Then what we'll do here is integer is less than 0. Plug you in there. Plug you in here. If we hit less than 0, then let's just force it to never go below there. So we're going to set it to 0. And then we're going to set can shoot to false. So when we hit 0, we don't want to be able to shoot anymore. So we come out of the holster. Damn it, I can't shoot. But I need to reload. So that's a minor glitch there. So, come back to that. I can holster my weapon and redraw it. Can shoot is set to... If we can, then we do this. I'll figure that out later. We just need to worry about our magazine change right now. So this is just going to handle the bang, can we shoot? For our reload animation, first off we need to keyboard R. And of course this is going to have to be replicated as well. So let's just go ahead and get this done. So all we got to do is do custom event, client, reload, because we need to add our animation to this as well. And we need to set this to multicast and reliable. And then what we're going to do is our magazine stuff. Then we'll come back over here and custom event, reload. So this is the actual call to that, and it's going to be switch has authority and learning how to spell, client reload. Press R, reload. Alright, so on our client reload, first off we need to get from our magazines, and let's do a check first and see if it is greater than 0. We need to make sure that we have more than 0 magazines. Because we have less than 0. Actually, let's change that to less than or equal to, or no, it's got to be greater than 0. I'm sorry. So if it's greater than 0, then yes, we can actually go through and reload our magazines. So at that point, we're going to take, and I'm just going to drag another version of it here, get our magazine and decrement, which means we're going to take 1 away. But we also need to set our magazine and we can just manually set it to 10 there. So in theory, draw our weapon. Let's reload. And the R key. Reload. Our magazine. Not our magazine. Dumbass. If our available magazines is greater than 0, then decrement our available magazines. Hey, now, and then we're going to set our magazine to 10. It helps to throw the right freaking variables at it. So, reload. We now have 2 mags, but our magazine is full. Reload. 1 magazine. Magazine is full. And why can't we shoot? Force it to second. Now, I can see how this can break here, but all right. So we draw our pistol out. We got 3 mags and 10 rounds in the mag. Reload. We got 2 mags and a full mag again. Reload. Reload. 0 and 0. Try to reload. We can't. We got no mags, no ammo. So we're out of ammo. The suckage is real. We need ammos. So come to our assets. And let's quickly create 1911 mag pickup. And we'll open that up. Weapons rigged. Bandit magazine. Actually, we don't need that. We need a static mesh. We can use that. Is there a static mesh? No. So, okay, we'll use this one then. 11 mag, add component. Mag. Compost, save. Here's 2 things we could think about. This, as we're doing our reload animation, we can actually spawn this and create another one that actually has physics to it. And whenever we want to do the reload, as soon as we hit the R for reload, we want that magazine to spawn just a hair below the magazine socket of our pistol, which we'd have to add another socket into our pistol. So we're going to spawn it into the world, and it'll just fall to the ground. So it looks like you've just hit your mag release button, dumped a magazine, and you're putting in a fresh magazine in, and just set the lifespan of the magazine to whatever, like 30 seconds, a minute, or whatever. So it'll stay on the ground for a little bit, and then it'll just disappear. But for this one, we're actually going to do a pickup. And then we'll do box collision. You know what? Close enough for government work, but we're going to go ahead and just move it up in the world just so we can step on it. And do this. Right click on event, begin overlap. We're going to cast to our player character. We are going to get magazine. No, get available mags. Because we need a reference to it. And then we're going to learn how to spell. Increment. So that's just going to add 1 to that number. And then we are going to destroy actor. So as soon as we walk over and pick it up, it'll just vanish. And it'll add it to our available magazines. So grab 1911 mag. No worries, no worries. We need to actually raise that magazine up. Let's try by 5. Let's try it by 3. That's good there. And Control C, Control V, so we'll have a second one in here. And we'll go in here, we'll look, hey, look, magazines. If you look at our magazine count is 3, now it's 4, now it's 5. So now we have ammo pickup for magazines. That's cool. And what I was saying about the drop mag, if you wanted to do whenever you go to reload, you hit the R key. We haven't set the reload animation in yet, but for it to spawn in another magazine and fall to the ground. Let's actually just do this. New blueprint, actor, drop, mag. Go back to our weapons rigged, magazine, add component, mag. I'll save. Alright, so with that selected, simulate physics. Drop mag. So I'm just going to grab this and set it at 0. 0 and 500. And then we're going here to play. Woohoo, it's still hovering in the air. Yeah, I wish I had enough knowledge to make millions. Apparently, this magazine doesn't have collisions. Set no collision. Let's try block all dynamic. Well, I don't see it in the sky anymore, and there it is on the ground. Alright, and it is a dropped magazine. It is like no longer, it's not usable, in other words. So let's actually do this, event begin play, and we'll do set life span of 10 seconds. So when we drop our magazines on the ground, they're only going to live for 10 seconds and then they're gone. What the hell is it? Well, doesn't matter. Let's kill it from here. And we haven't saved our map in a while. So we got 2 spare mags on the ground now. And what we want to do on our reload is, and this is not something that really needs to be replicated, but you could if you wanted to be. You're going to have to do the animation. It's going to be replicated. So, yeah, whatever. We do need to go back into our pistol skeleton and add in a new socket. And we'll call that mag close enough. And then I'm just going to drag that straight down. And that's close enough for me. We just need a location for it to dump from. Yeah, that's fine. So now, if we get our 1911 reference, and get socket location, actually we need a socket transform. It's because we're going to do a spam. No, we're going to do a spawn actor from class. So we need a spawn transform. So we'll get socket transform. Plug you in here. We need drop mag, and we need the socket name, which was mag. Making all kind of racket here. I need to reload. Magazine just dropped. Cool. Let me just pick up some more. We reload. Boop. We drop the mag. Drop the mag. Oh, we just dropped live mags on the ground. It don't matter. You put them on the ground, you've lost them. So we can see that we're dropping a magazine now. How we're going to tie in the animation. Well, let's just throw in here and reload reference. Yeah, it's a nice little extra touch to actually see the mag dump. But I did notice that it's dropping sideways. So I need to go back in here to the drop mag. And even though it's okay here, actually no, let's actually go into the skeleton. And we need to rotate it 90 degrees. So let's go into weapons rigged. 1911 skeleton and our mag. We need to rotate it 90 this way. Dyslexia, I love it. Yep, wrong way. So we'll just do it 180 degrees. So now we drop the magazine, guns out. Boop. Oh. There we go. The first drop, it landed perfectly on its heel. Out of mags. Go pick up a couple more. Reload, reload. We're good. So now that we got that taken care of, we have reload reference. See, this is where it gets kind of tacky. If I set reload to true, if I set that variable to true, then it's always going to be true. Yeah, it's a nice touch to the realism factor of it. Um, hmm. Trying to think how I'm going to call this in the actual animation blueprint, because when we look at our third person animation blueprint, where we've added in our pistol, our has pistol, um, we want to transition to add a new state, reload. I don't know how to tell it to transition into that. Reload pistol. So how do we tell it to get in and out of that transition? We need something. Yes, we're going to have a compile error because we have no method for going in and out of the transition. So it's not going to like that until I actually fix that. Whenever we're actually doing the reload deal here, we want it to reload. We want to set this variable, then we want to not be set. We want to carry out this variable. So how long is the actual reload animation? Reload pistol is 1.666666. So we'll do 1.6. So we'll set that. We've already spawned the thing. We've already done all of our stuff. Or about timing it later. Reload ref. We set can shoot to true already. So it needs to be before there. So let's push the oh, can shoot is true. Well, let's just set that false right now, so we cannot shoot. And then we're gonna drop our magazine. Then let's go ahead and run a delay. Well, we need to go ahead and set this reload reference to true. So we'll set reload reference here, and we're in that transition. And then our delay. So after 1.666667, too many sixes, whatever. So after that time is up, then we need to set reload ref defaults, and then can shoot it true. So we can shoot now. We've already done all of our reload reference, what have yous, and that's just killing this reference here. But in this blueprint right here, what we're going to do is we need, in the event graph, we need to go ahead and we already have our sequence node and load. We'll get that. And we'll create another variable here. Reloading. And we will set that. And we'll plug that in here. Now we'll go back to this with its unhappiness of that. There, fine, shut up, you'll work. And the return node, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to time remaining ratio reload pistol. We want to know that our animation is float. Less than a tenth of a second left in it. So basically, whenever it's done doing the animation, it's then going to go back into the regular. So let's actually see if that works. So, hey, look, fresh mags, bang, bang. We have 5 mags now instead of 3. Draw our pistol. Let's reload. And where the hell is my animation? Where the hell is my animation? Reloading. Now, sometimes this is, it doesn't like this method. And you actually have to run a branch node. Don't know why. Works sometimes like this, sometimes it doesn't. Then set reloading to true. And just for the hell of it, set defaults there. I don't know why, but like I said, sometimes it requires you to actually physically put a branch node in there. Where the hell's my animation, you bastard? Because you're stupid. You actually have to enable the frickin' reference. So now, we need to I don't know if you saw, I'm sorry, I'm moving kind of quick on that. What happened was it was still an active animation. For some reason, it did it twice. There you go. It's doing the animation twice. So first thing I want to look at is ensuring that this is not set to loop animation. Dumbass thing. So now, draw our pistol, reload. No problem. Reload. No problem. Let's grab us a couple more mags. Shoot. Reload. Now, if you really want to be cool, you could actually attach a mag, spawn a mag in the character's hand, and then make it despawn whenever it's in that. But you watch the empty mag, there it's gone. I don't know if you saw the mag there, but it hit my foot and bounced away. So we're out of ammo. I'll also put your gun away. So that's that. We have a straight up method of toggling it right here, or we can actually go into a menu and set it for momentary. But you see what will happen here is that lets the player spam it, and I don't like the momentary. So almost like I would actually come in here and completely ditch the momentary version. Even though we went through all the trouble to making it to where it'll work either way, I don't like that momentary. I think if you're going to commit to pulling your pistol out, keep it out until you're ready to put it away. So, toggle pistol, technically we can actually dump all this too, but whatever. It works the way it is. And what all do we have in there? Yeah, we can get rid of that. We don't need that widget anymore. So here's what we got. We go in here. We have created a holster with a pistol in it. Ammo pickups. So now we actually have that. We can right click, draw our weapon. We get a particle effect, a sound. We can put the gun away, draw it back out. Have a magazine count. We have reload animation with magazine. It drops and hits the ground. Kind of cool. And last magazine. I can't drop it, even though it's empty. But whatever. But I can't put it away. And there was much rejoicing. Alright, so that's that and that and that and that. But as soon as we did the reload off of the equipped pistol, in theory, I did not check to see if anything happens. Yeah. See? Bug testing. We need to make sure that the player cannot reload if he doesn't have the pistol equipped. So where was our equipped pistol stuff? Toggle pistol. Alright, so on this, pistol equipped, we already have a variable, so let's go ahead and just on here, we're checking our magazines, but we didn't check to see if we actually had our frickin' pistol out. So for now, so we've got all this stuff behind there. I'm just going to drag this. It's easier for me to go ahead and drag this. And I'll throw another branch in. And pistol equipped. So now, we should have to check. Hit R a couple times. Nothing's happening. Escape. No errors this time, so we're good. Bang, bang. Picked up a couple mags. Doesn't matter how many rounds you've got left in your mag. If you choose to reload, you lose the contents of that magazine. And that's, you know, oh, I didn't mean to reload. Oh, didn't mean to reload. Okay, but you notice while we're running, no problem. Idle run. It should have continued to work correctly. So if I've got my pistol out and I reload, you see my bottom half of my character is not blending. But if I'm standing still, it's fine. Alright, no problem. No problem whatsoever. Let's just do layered per blend, blah, 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 that. Yeah, that thing. Plug that in and plug that in. Get our speed, plug that in. Click here. And tell it to use spine underscore 01 and 1 and compost and save. There we go. Reloading on the run. And reloading at a standstill. And everything is lovely. Okay, so, we're at almost 3 hours. You got any questions before I jump out of here, take a break for a little bit, and, yeah, Snake, if you want me to, pull your guy into a project and do basically the same thing all over again, just pull him into a project or, and throw some animations at it, and I'll throw it into my template. Did you buy the template already? I can't remember. I'm old, I forget shit. I had a list written down somewhere. But I'm using 423, so I'll throw your character into a 423 project with the simple multiplayer template, so that let's actually check really quickly. Yeah, I'll pull your character in here, and if you want me to stream it, I'll stream it, and let's kind of screw around. So your client draws his pistol. Not seeing the particle effect. Client's not reloading. Alright, I think I know what I did wrong there. Client's multi-classed. Yeah, dumbass. Run on server, reliable. Alright, yeah. Alright, let me fix these windows. And this will be my conclusion here. And we'll wrap up this video. I'll show that everything is replicated on this one. The whole point to this one right here is to actually get some basic shooting mechanisms here and working. I'm going to have to look at the shooting thing because I want... And the client can see his own muzzle flash and stuff. Reload's replicating. Here's the server. Draw the pistol out. There we go. Replicates nice, but I didn't replicate the shooting. Can remedy that really relatively quickly and just do custom vent and client shoot, and that seems to be multicast reliable. This will plug in here. You break. And what I'll do here is, technically I could probably run it right off of there. I've always done it this way. Custom and shoot. Be run on the server, reliable. Switches authority. Client shoot. And when I press the left mouse button, we need to shoot. Yes, I know I can manually resize these, but it's only a problem whenever I'm streaming, because whenever I'm not streaming, I just have one on a different monitor. Alright, server. Client can see the muzzle flash from the server and the reload. So let's look at the client now is the one jumping. Draws his pistol. Muzzle flash. And sound should be working. Reloads work. And you can see the mag dumps too. Alright, I like it. Alright, I'm going to do this. Save all. And I'll revisit this project later. I'm going to take a break for a little bit, and actually, we'll do with my simple multiplayer Steam template. If you guys aren't familiar with how to use it correctly, if you want to use it for your projects, what I do is, yes, I have a lot of projects I need to purge. Simple multiplayer Steam template 423. I'm going to select clone, and I'm going to call this Snake. Snake Eyes. Make sure I'm on the right folder, and create and continue. This is going to create a whole new project with my simple multiplayer Steam template as the base of, by running that clone procedure right there. Okay, it takes a couple seconds, and then there we go, project is there. But another thing that I like to do is go into my file explorer, go into my Unreal projects, and it's called Snake Eyes. Where you be? Right here, and delete. Saved. And then whenever I go into it, I can configure it. It'll take a couple seconds to go in for the first time. So this will be like total peekaboo. I haven't seen your character in. I've seen it in. Pulled it up in. Yeah, that thing. For 3D printing, but I haven't actually pulled it up for Unreal Engine yet. So they're already set up. And again, the simple multiplayer Steam template, first thing I'm going to do is go to editor preferences, and I'm going to change my editor open default locations to main window. I'm going to disable autosave. Then I'm going to go to project settings, because I'm awesome like this, and I'm going to go to Splash, and this is going to be for Finsta Windows. I'm going to go to program files, not program x86, but program files. Okay, and then I'm going to go to Epic Games, the engine you're in, engine, content, and if you want to edit your own splash screens, you can do that here. So this is going to be the editor splash screen, open, and game splash. Whenever the game loads, this will load. And import. So now these are going to be part of my project. Whenever I open up the editor every time, I'm going to see that splash screen. Whenever I'm unloading the game in, I'm going to see that splash screen. Beefalo Bart Gaming 2020, yeehaw. So, stupid little UE4 tricks. But nice touch, right? And so we hit play, and it doesn't work. So we hit play and standalone game. And you will see, yay, isn't that beautiful? And then Steam username and avatar, Steam community while playing, and multiplayer, host, create a server name, donkey penis, and then make, and there was much rejoicing. Hit escape, resume game, or hit escape and go to main menu, and exit. And that's what you get with my simple multiplayer Steam template. So I'm going to take a break. I think we're at the 3-hour mark, so take a break for a little bit, and I'll load the files in, and I'll let you know right before I get ready to stream again in Discord. We'll take a peek at things, see what's going on. So we'll see you guys soon, and I'll be back in 10-15 minutes. See you.